What if that nagging feeling in the back of your neck was real? What if those hands reaching out from the dark that you believed were there were there? What if the monster in the basement really existed? And what if there was really something under the bed? Would you have the courage to face your fears?
Tonight's story is called I Enjoy Being a Zombie, written by me. My name is Everett, and I never thought I would enjoy being a zombie. I thought that when you became one, you lost yourself to the virus. That may be true to a point. You do lose a little bit of yourself, but it's only the bit you wouldn't miss. It was the most terrifying and freeing day of my life when I turned. I don't think we all come back this way, because the one that turned me didn't seem to care. To give you some context, I was one of the people you see in movies who don't make it past the first day of the outbreak. I was walking home from work when this man began to chase me down the street. I thought he was running away from something at first, but realized too late he was after me. He jumped at me and tore a huge chunk out of my shoulder. I fell to the ground, and he must have accomplished what he wanted because he kept running down the street, probably after the next unfortunate soul. I laid there for what felt like hours, but was probably mere minutes. I felt the blood draining out of me as I slowly and painfully drifted away to nothingness. That's actually exactly how it felt when I ended getting back up. It felt like absolute nothingness. All I could feel was an ache in my head and an odd urge to feed. Other than that, I was very much myself. I wasn't sure how long I'd been out, but the town was in total chaos. There were people running around everywhere screaming. I heard gunshots coming from down the street, and the sounds of sirens were deafening as an ambulance went flying past me. There was a car across the street from where I was, and it was on fire, and it looked like somebody was trapped in the back seat. I ran over to the vehicle as I regained my wits and tried to help the person trapped in the back. It was a young man who looked absolutely horrified. It looked like both sides of his vehicle had been hit, and it looked like it stopped him from opening the doors. I told him to back up as I grabbed a nearby large rock and threw it at the window to try to break it open. I had to do this a few times before the window finally broke open. I grabbed him and tried to pull him out of the wreckage, but for some reason was hit with a sudden urge. I bit down into the man's neck, and blood spurted everywhere. I pulled myself back in horror as the man pleaded. He fell back into the car and stopped moving soon after. The blood felt amazing on my lips. I also noticed the ache in my head had subsided for a moment. It's been about a month since that first day on the street. Since then, I had to embrace the good and bad of being the undead. I tried to hold off as long as I could before feeding again, but the pain in my head was unbearable. So maybe a week into the outbreak, I broke and made my first real kill. It was a young couple that was holed up in an old apartment building. Apparently not all the zombies can speak, because they took me in without much convincing. It only took them a few moments to realize they had made a mistake when I pounced on them and finally relieved my splitting headache. I find that I need to make a kill at least once every few days to keep the splitting headache away. If I don't, then my body takes over, and I have no choice who dies. At least this way I can keep it mitigated to one person every few days. I also enjoy choosing the person I'm going to consume. I make sure there isn't anything left to come back when I make a kill. I wouldn't want somebody else like me around. Might spoil all the fun. Well, I hope you enjoyed that story. I wrote that randomly while I was hanging out with my son, Caden, today, and figured I'd share it with all you guys. So, I hope you enjoyed it. Come back next time for some more zombies, werewolves, or vampire stories. And remember to always face your fears.